Good morning, South Park. Listen, it is Monday morning. It is a 2-hour delay day. I'm here at work, knocking out my review for you guys. Now listen, the test will be Friday. So that will be Friday the 19th. Friday the 19th. Make sure you're ready. All right? Make sure you're ready. Moms, dads, we do this all the time. Anybody has any questions, please let me know. Please let me know. Call me, moms, dads, 412-655-3111 and an extension 3105, all right? I'm the only person in the building, which is kind of a little spooky in all honesty. And that was the homeroom bell that just went off. I'm the only person here in the building. All right, very first thing. 6 steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, not 7, but 6 steps of photosynthesis. Make sure that you know this. Step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Make sure that you know plants get water through the roots, then they bring in carbon dioxide, they take in sunlight. In the process of photosynthesis, they produce sugar or a fruit. And they also give us oxygen. Please make sure that you know that. I guarantee you that is on the test. I guarantee that that is on the test. Make sure that you know that. Everybody understand. Moms, dad, please make sure they study. Okay, next thing, plants have many important parts, okay? One part is called the root. Make sure that you know the job of the root, all right? In our notes, moms and dads, there's pictures of the roots right here. The roots do a couple things. They bring in they absorb water, and sometimes they bring in minerals from the soil. Roots also, if you've ever had to dig up a tree or a bush, you understand that roots anchor that plant into the ground. I'm sure if you've ever had to help your mom or dad or your granddad or your grandma dig up a flower bush or dig up a big shrub, especially those arborvitaes, those are nasty to deal with. You can understand that those roots do an important job, all right? Next part are stems. Stem holds the plant up and gives it a pathway for the water and nutrients to travel to the leaves, all right? So you have the roots bring in water, minerals, anchored in the ground. The stem shoots up, and that is more or less, think about it as a highway for the water to go up and down throughout the plant to the leaves. Leaves, they come in many shapes and sizes, but they're important for making the sugar. We're going to use the scientific word, glucose. All right, leaves collect sunlight, so think of them like a solar panel. Think of them as like a solar panel. So these leaves are collecting the sunlight like a solar panel, all right? So we have that, all right? Energy is all around us in many forms. One type of energy is solar energy, that is light from the sun. Solar energy is light from the sun. And once again, moms and dads, we have pictures all throughout our notes so everybody understands. I'm gonna be back in 30 seconds. I'm gonna grab a bottle of water. Right back to you. I should have done that before I started. All right, these are just examples of like the leaves, they act like solar panels. So we have those in there. All right, Earth relies on energy from the sun to support life, especially the plants. Plants rely on the sun's energies to grow to make sugar/glucose. You know what, I'm just gonna put this in purple just so you know what, I can't do it while I'm doing the video. When plants make their food, plants make oxygen, when plants take in water, take in sunlight, take in carbon dioxide, make sure everybody, we know this is called photosynthesis. We've been hammering on this for maybe the last month and a half, photosynthesis, all right? When we eat the plants, We take in their chemical energy. So when you eat potatoes and carrots, broccoli, apples, oranges, cherries, pineapples, and tomatoes, their energy becomes part of our energy. And moms and dads always ask the kids what their favorite vegetable is. It's always fun. No one says cabbage. That's my favorite vegetable. No one says cabbage. All right. Photosynthesis can be divided into two words. Photo means light. Synthesis means the act of putting or making something. So photosynthesis. All right. If you see this word, you know how important this word is, and it is all over our test. All over our test. All right. In the process of photosynthesis, plants use sunlight to put together ingredients to make their food. All right. I cannot stress this enough. All the notes about photosynthesis. I cannot stress that enough. Does everybody understand? As long as they have all the ingredients, sugar will be produced by photosynthesis is used for the plants to grow. The rest of the sugar is stored in fruits. That's why fruit is so sweet. That's why the fruits are so sweet, especially pineapples and peaches, which are great to be grilled, moms and dads. If you never grilled a peach, oh my goodness. Peaches on a grill or grilled pineapple, they're fantastic. Peach, especially with a little bit of vanilla bean ice cream. All right, symbiotic relationships. Symbiotic relationships, you need me, I need you. In a symbiotic relationship, we're looking at photosynthesis. Plants need us, we need plants. We get oxygen from plants, we get fruit from plants, and plants get carbon dioxide from us, which they need. So we are in a symbiotic relationship. A symbiotic relationship. Just heard the door, someone's here. Without oxygen, humans and animals cannot survive. Look how cute that dog is right there. He's adorable. Make sure that you know this picture, everybody. Make sure that you know this picture. Sunlight comes in, carbon dioxide, water, oxygen goes out, and with their sugars. All right. Next thing, what does it mean to be native? Now, the second part of this chapter dealt with invasive species, moms and dads. So we started off, what does it mean to be native? So it's not a political statement or anything like that. We're just looking at pure scientific. If you were born here, you are native to here. We're talking about plants and animals. Now, if you move around, this is a big problem that we have in the United States and also around the world, where you have non-native species moving to a different area. So we're solely looking at animals, nothing political here. All right. We added the city wherever they were born. I was born in Little Washington, Pennsylvania, but I just consider myself part of the Pittsburgh area. So everyone that was born in Western PA put down the city of Pittsburgh. I remember a couple people put down Dallas or wherever they were born. So you should recognize your hometown city right there. All right, now there are 5 reasons why species get moved. You have to know these 5. 5, not 6, not 7, 5. Here they are. First one, trade. Sometimes species are traded amongst nations. Hey, as a goodwill gesture, here we're going to give you this plant. You're going to give us this animal. Sometimes that's a good idea. Sometimes that's a bad idea. But trade. Transportation. Sometimes animals, species can take let's say a free ride or hitchhike through shipping containers or on boats, and that's how species can spread from country to country. A perfect example of that is the Asian lanternfly. They believe that those were brought on from Southeast Asia in trade and transportation. They came across in the pallets, and the pallets were here in the United States, and the Asian lanternfly has sprung into action, if you will. Pest control, certain animals are brought to the United States to control other animals, and then they go out of control. All right, decorations. Sometimes plants are brought to this country as a form of decorations, but then sometimes they can go crazy. A perfect example of that is a hogweed and kudzu. All right, and probably the most common are pets. Pets are, they have pets, and then people release them, and they get out of control. All right, so those are the 5: trade, transportation, pest control, decoration, and pest. Make sure that you know that also. All right. What's an invasion? They, in the science online book, they compare the invasive species to an invasion. I just said this is when someone invades your country, someone invades your nation. When I say somebody, we're looking at species, plants, and animals. All right. Now, and all we did was take a look at some of the organisms that invaded. This one is it's becoming pretty common, especially the eastern side of the state. I know there were reports that they were in the Monongahela River maybe 2 or 3 years ago, snakehead fish. These can actually live out of water, moms and dads, and they eat everything. They have no real natural predators. As a matter of fact, the Pennsylvania State Game Commission says if you see these, kill them. If you see these, kill them immediately. Don't throw them on the ground. You have to kill them immediately. Another one is the lamprey. Now this is up in Lake Erie. They kind of have these controlled to a degree, but they're still up there. And what they are they came in through boats, and they got into Lake Erie up the St. Lawrence Seaway, and they attach themselves to freshwater fish. And just imagine, moms and dads, a big leech or a big tick, and attaches to the fish, and it eventually weakens the fish and kills it. Zebra mussels, these are also in Lake Erie. These are little mussels that get around propellers and intake valves, and they clog up everything. Best way to explain this one is kind of like lint in a lint trap in your dryer. You might not have it, and you do your laundry, you dry your clothes, you pull it out, and it's full of lint. Think of those like lint monsters, and you have to keep removing them. All right. Kudzu, if you've ever driven down I-95 or 77 through the deep south or across Mississippi, this is a plant from Southeast Asia. It was brought here to help control erosion. It's also brought here because it had a beautiful flower, but what's happened is you cannot stop it, and it spreads, believe it or not, moms and dads, maybe a foot and a half a day. So if you would plant it, it goes everywhere. All right. Asian lanternfly, we talked about them earlier. We talked about these with the kids in class. What happens is they weaken plants and animals, they weaken plants, trees and crops, which costs Pennsylvania farmers money, and they lay eggs. But recently they found that the bats at night attack them and eat them. So they've done studies, the scientists have done studies and proved that the bats are actually helping to control this new species that's in America. Burmese pythons, and thank goodness we have weather like today to help control these. This is a problem in Florida. They've taken over the Everglades, and we've also seen, showed a video, where they have invaded people's homes in South Florida. They are an apex predator, which means a top predator. They can grow to 25, 30 feet, and they eat everything. And they have no natural predators, and it's becoming a big problem down in Florida. Big problem in Florida. Mickey Mouse needs to do something about these. Monitor lizards are also in Florida. What happens, these people have these pets, and once again, I don't know why you would have certain pets. But Florida's climate is very similar to the climate that they have and their original native nations. Plus, Florida has a lot of waterways, which is an easy highway or path to go from area to area in Florida. All right. Lionfish, this is another pet, very pretty. It was a pet in an aquarium. People released them, and it's a very pretty fish. But these fish right here, these tines right here, are poisonous, and they eat everything. They eat everything, and other fish can't eat them because if you try to bite it, they will die. Garlic mustard, this is just a wild plant. A lot of people say, oh, that sounds delicious. Don't eat this plant because it will get you sick. Won't kill you, but it'll get you sick. And it's a vine that overtakes everything. Cane toads, these were brought into Florida to control there was an insect that attacked the sugar cane in Florida, Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, in the southeastern part of the country. But these toads on the back of them have a poison gland, so if anything bites it, dogs, cats, other animals, they die very painful deaths. They're filled up with poison, and they're out of control. Oh, the Eastern European starling, it's on your desk. This bird was actually brought here from Europe. There was a man who loved William Shakespeare, and William Shakespeare wrote a lot about birds in his plays and stories and essays. And a man brought 100 eastern starlings to New York City because he wanted to make Central Park look beautiful. And now they're out of control. Now there's over 200 million. And moms and dads, we talked about the dangers of the Eastern European starling when it comes to airplanes, where planes ingest these types of birds into the engines. And also they attack farms. And there's a couple videos that you can actually see, moms and dads, that the kids have in their videos. And it's very beautiful, but then all of a sudden it gets eerie how they flow in these big flocks. It's beautiful, but it's also a little eerie or creepy. Hogweed, this looks like Queen Anne's lace, but it is actually taller than I am. And if you get the oil on you, it will be severely painful. It causes burns. It can actually make you go blind if you get it in your eye. And this was one thing that was brought here as a decoration, and it got out of control, and it is nasty. We actually had some at the middle school 2-3 years ago, going up to the soccer field, and they would not allow the kids outside, and they had to make sure they got a professional company to come in, remove it. So it gets very nasty. And if you remove it, moms and dads, you have to be in a hazmat suit. Invasive species, what happens is they come in and they upset the balance of Mother Nature. Mother Nature wants everything nice and even, like a seesaw. In a good relationship in Mother Nature, you have the prey and the predators are equal. And what happens when you bring in these invasive species, it throws everything off a kilter, and it's just bad for business. All right. Let me see what else I really want you to know. Invasive species also create competition with other animals, and this all goes back to whenever you invite or bring in an invasive species, it messes up your seesaw. All right. I already taught you William Shakespeare, big fan, brought in to New York City, now there's over 200 million. We talked about that. Starling can do a lot of damage to the fields and crops, and they can also cause fires on airplanes. All right. This is the 2 videos that I saw, but I don't want to play it because I don't want to mess up my video. Kudzu is sometimes called the mile-a-minute vine because it just grows that fast. So I see go down south. It came from Japan, and they actually brought it to Philadelphia. And it was brought here because of a decoration, because of its pretty vines and its pretty flowers. And so pretty that flower. Now I have to admit, it is a pretty flower. And they were also brought here to stop erosion, but unfortunately it just exploded and they cannot control it. And kudzu, we did a whole bunch of facts about kudzu. It blocks the sunlight, so other plants need for photosynthesis. It absorbs a tremendous amount of water, that's why it's good for erosion. It can overtake food crops and causing trees to fall. Kudzu, they were actually down south. They would actually grow up telephone poles and short out the electricity. And there's the bell again. And kudzu can also grow on railroad tracks, causing trains to slip, wreck, or even derail. All right, this is it grown on a building. See how it just overtakes everything. How to stop invasive species when you're buying plants for your garden. Make sure you get a native species. If you have a boat, make sure you clean your boat thoroughly before you take it from water to water. This is really big when you go out west. I notice they have kind of like how we have rest stops. If you're towing your boat, the game commissions in Colorado, Utah, Wyoming, California will make you pull your boat over and they check it and they make sure there's no water contained. So if there's any contaminant in, let's say, Lake A, that water from Lake A doesn't contaminate Lake B. And they're trying to stop the spread of invasive species when it comes to boats like that. This has been big news lately. When you go hiking, which we do quite often, my family, they want you to make sure that you clean your unit or your hiking outfit, and also make sure you knock off all the seeds that you might have on your clothing, and also make sure you wash your boots. This should say when camping, don't move firewood. When hiking, don't move firewood. Don't bring wood from place A into place B. And if you have animals, do not release them. Now, everybody, the test will be on Friday. I'm here. Moms, dads, please call, reach out. I'm here. I'm going to update this one so everyone knows it's available. Also, moms and dads, we're working on our wanted posters when it comes to invasive species. So they're wanted. These are just black and whites, but they'll have color copies. Make sure that you ask to see them at home. They do a lot of great work. I try not to give you guys homework, so moms and dads, you don't get stressed out. But please, on occasion, say, hey, tell me what you're doing in science. All the notes are there electronically. And I'm very proud of the work that they do in class. So please, moms and dads, support me by asking, hey, what are you doing in science? Let me see your brochure. Let me see your wanted poster, or anything that we're doing. Just support me at home and ask moms and dads if you can see their kids' work. All right, I'm signing off. Everybody stay warm. And Steelers got a big game tonight. Go Steelers. Also, congratulations to the Pitt women's volleyball team, another Final Four. Hopefully, fingers crossed, they bring it home this year. All right, take care, stay warm. Bye-bye.